Alright, let's dive into something that's both shocking and eye-opening, a story that's been bubbling under the surface of the high seas. Imagine this, massive industrial fishing vessels, the kind you'd barely believe exist, are out there rendering fish into oil. Sounds like something out of a dystopian novel, right? But here's the kicker, it's impossible to tell if these fish were legally caught. Personally, I think this is where the line between industrial efficiency and environmental ethics gets blurred. What makes this really interesting is how it highlights the loopholes in our global fishing regulations. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just about fish, it's about the entire ecosystem being exploited in ways we can't even track. But that's not even the worst part. Some of these vessels are harpooning dolphins, yes, dolphins, and using their butchered bodies as shark bait. In my opinion, this is where the story takes a truly dark turn. Dolphins, intelligent and social creatures, are being slaughtered not for food or survival, but as a tool in a brutal fishing practice. What many people don't realize is that this isn't just animal cruelty, it's part of a larger, systemic issue in the fishing industry. Sharks are then caught using illegal gear, their fins hacked off for the market, and the rest of their bodies tossed overboard, still alive. This raises a deeper question: how did we let things get this out of control? Now, here's where it gets a bit hopeful. Canada has been flexing its enforcement muscle in the North Pacific, leading a multi-country mission to crack down on these illegal practices. For the fourth year in a row, they've sent out the Sir Wilfrid Laurier, a Canadian Coast Guard ship, along with officers from Fisheries and Oceans Canada and the RCMP. What this really suggests is that international cooperation is possible, even in the vast, lawless expanse of the high seas. But let's be real, it's an uphill battle. Over 1,100 vessels are registered to fish in these waters, and many of them are massive, factory-sized ships with the capacity to do immense damage. One thing that immediately stands out is the use of technology in this operation. Satellite tracking and aircraft surveillance are being used to monitor these vessels, which is a game-changer. A detail I find fascinating is how a Canadian Dash 8 aircraft covered over 42,000 nautical miles, tracking 344 vessels and providing video evidence. This isn't just about catching bad actors, it's about sending a message. And it seems to be working. Officials say that international fleets are starting to expect Canadian patrols, which is a big deal. But here's the thing, despite these efforts, the problem is far from solved. The mission reported 52 potential violations, and many of the vessels involved are part of Asian distant water fleets flagged in countries like China, Taiwan, Japan, Korea, and Russia. From my perspective, this is a global issue that requires more than just one country's efforts. Illegal fishing isn't just about breaking rules, it's about undermining fish populations, marine environments, and fair markets. It's a threat to the entire seafood supply chain. What's encouraging, though, is that there are signs of progress. Last year, a Taiwanese fishing boat captain was sentenced to over 2 years in prison for harpooning 43 dolphins. Personally, I think this kind of punishment is crucial. It sends a strong message to others who might consider engaging in these practices. And there's been a drop in dolphin kills this season, which is a small but significant win. But let's not get complacent. Shark violations are still a major problem, and the fight is far from over. If you take a step back and think about it, this story is a microcosm of the larger challenges we face in managing our planet's resources. It's about greed, regulation, and the delicate balance between human needs and environmental sustainability. In my opinion, what we're seeing here is a critical moment, a chance to either turn the tide or let things spiral further out of control. So, here's my closing thought: what can we, as individuals, do to support these enforcement efforts? Maybe it's about being more mindful of where our seafood comes from, or advocating for stronger international regulations. Because at the end of the day, the high seas aren't just a lawless frontier, they're a shared resource that we all have a stake in protecting.